Welcome to iHip News. Happy New Year. This is her last day of vacation. Josh is back to practicing law. I grabbed our millennial producer, Kylie. Kylie, thank you for joining iHip News. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
All right. I think this is hilarious. Elon Musk tweets, please be a bit more positive, beautiful, or informative. Wait. Strike that. So I think this is absolutely hilarious. Elon Musk tweets, please post a bit more positive, beautiful, or informative content on this platform.
It's very funny coming from him.
24 hours prior to tweeting this, he told the Maga faithful that didn't like his stance on H-1B visas, they could go fuck themselves in the face.
Right. And is that positive and informative?
I saw somebody tweet like, guy poisons the well and then says, everybody drink the water.
Yeah. Do you think, he's always been a bit unhinged.
Yeah.
Do you think we're watching a little bit of a spiraling?
You know, I think he's spiraling more and more because I think that for a billionaire like this, he's surrounded by a bunch of yes men. And when you get into this level where people are going to start holding you accountable because now he has in charge of Doge, this new made up, cabinet position under Trump, you're going to be responsible to the public. And these people have been sold since 2016 a platform of white supremacy. We're going to get all of these immigrants out of the United States of America, America only. And I personally think it's hilarious that this guy, South African, when they really sit down and start thinking about it, they're going to lose their minds, and they're starting to. And so he's losing his mind. But in proving that even assholes have moments of clarity, I want to play for you all this clip from Laura Loomer.
And what we need to have a conversation about is what is it going to mean for the future of our country, our national security, and the incoming Trump administration if we have a bunch of technocrats who are also essentially welfare queens because their companies are receiving government subsidies and they want to take over our defense industry. If you have a bunch of tech bros with billions of dollars and direct unfettered access to the vice president and the president of the United States, and then they are also, very cordial with our adversaries, as in China and Iran. We see that Elon Musk is having these meetings off the books with Iranian officials, with Chinese officials. What does that mean for us and the future of our constitutional republic?
Okay. She's getting closer and closer. She brought up China. She brought up Iran. She couldn't quite bring up Putin yet, but they're getting really, really close. The far right, MAGA loyalists they're almost there.
I also think that the MAGA loyalists, the more like average people ones like her, are a little bit jealous now that they got the boot and it's billionaires and it's Putin and they don't like it.
And I think they're starting to realize just how transactional this man is, which brings me to a story that we've been covering forever, and The Guardian has now done a bit on it. And it's called, it's the right-wing knick-knack racket. And they did a whole article on it. You've got Trump Bibles, Rudy Coffee, Tucker Carlson nicotine pouches. And here they are just grifting and grifting and grifting. So for the Steve Bannons and the Laura Loomers, now Steve Bannon's a grifter himself, they're fine with the grift as long as they can control it. But when it gets to the $400 billion grifters, like she's calling him a welfare queen, then they start to have a problem with it. So I just think it's really interesting that they went all chips in and they substituted any sort of accomplishment that Trump has made personally or any sort of intelligence that he's made. He's been able to say, I'm rich. In the United States, if you're rich, that means you won at capitalism. And so people then just give you a lot of earned accomplishments that you really haven't earned by virtue of your bank account. And so now they're like, oh, wait, we don't like billionaires. And it's like, well, didn't you run? He's such a businessman. He's so good. And he's so transactional. Now he's sending Steve Bannon, Laura Loomer, and all of his white trash supporters right down the river because he has the friends he's always wanted now. He wants to hang out with Jeff Bezos. He wants to hang out with Steve Bannon. He wants to be the cool guy with the cool toys. And they're getting super close. MAGA is getting really close to figuring it out.
And he's always done this. There's always been a wave of these losers that go down the river. And then these people think, well, it's not going to happen to me. But yeah, now he's at the peak. So I think the only thing that happens now is they send him down the river. I think it's going to reverse on him.
I think that what's happening is the madder his base gets at him, then a lot of these congressmen will be freer to vote against his agenda in Congress. Now, what I'm scared about is once they get all of the power, we saw how powerful the Russian misinformation, disinformation campaign was in 2016. We saw that Elon Musk bought X and started a huge propaganda machine and invested in a ground game for 2024, and Trump won. I'm scared for 2026 once all of the oligarchs have all of this power, because he's dining with Zuckerberg now, Tim Cook, he's dining with everything that we have on our phones is all controlled by these people, which means our information is controlled by these people. So I'm hopeful that the MAGA base getting this mad gives a lot of these Republican, kind of center Republican congressmen that they can't handle the just vitriol from the MAGA base online. So they just go along with whatever Trump says, that this might give them some separation.
Yeah.
But I thought this little clip right here was hilarious. So here is Representative Tim Burchett he's a Republican from Tennessee, and he's on Fox News talking about Moses Mike Johnson, just how much he loves Moses Mike. And so here is what being a little lapdog sounds like.
Mike's been a good friend to me, and there's nobody more honest that I've ever dealt with in Washington. I mean, he is a fine Christian man. He's not a religious man. He's a Christian man, and he doesn't cheat on his wife. And I find that very appealing in Washington, D.C.
So I'm just curious about that. Number one, is he trying to burn Donald Trump? Because everybody knows Donald Trump is a huge cheater. But is that the bar? That like, hey, this is my friend Mike, and he's never cheated on his wife, so I love him.
Yeah, why would you need to say that?
But I don't know. I don't know why he's saying that. I don't know what is the purpose of saying that. One could argue, I'm not saying that this is the case, but there's been a lot of rumors that Moses Mike might be a little gay curious. He might be a little bi curious. So maybe he hasn't cheated on his wife with a woman. Maybe he just watches the porn and his son bested him. I mean, I don't know. But this is just some weird shit that goes on Fox News. Is this kind of shit?
Yeah. My first thought was he obviously has cheated on his wife.
Okay. And then the last story I want to cover on this new day in the new year is there's a little bit of leaking coming out of Mar-a-Lago that says that Trump is starting to get annoyed at the shadow president, Elon Musk. He's starting to get irritated. I'm just curious how this plays out, because I believe that Trump was in a real bind when he was running for president. That's why there is all the riffraff and knickknacks for sale and the Bibles and all of this stuff. Elon Musk, daddy with big purse, comes in and starts throwing money at him. And Elon Musk is also having all of these private conversations with Putin. Trump has never, ever stood up to Putin and been like a strong American leader in that regard. Not one time. So how is this going to play out? Is he going to kick Elon down the river, and then Elon owns X, and then he owns how all of these, lower educated, lower information voters receive their information? I don't know.
Yeah, and technically, does that put you in more power than the president already in this day and age?
Probably, because president is 4 years, and when Trump is sworn in, he's already a lame duck. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like he has to start posturing for the next election, because he's not going to be able to run again. And he's not a spring chicken either. And so, the Elon Musk, he's going to be around a lot longer. Now, something that has always kind of sat in my craw, when the Kamala Harris, Donald Trump race was going on at its peak, Elon in an interview said, God, I mean, I hope Trump wins because I don't want to go to prison. I'm paraphrasing, but it was some reference that like he better win or I'm going to go to prison. And then I've also read reports that he's been under DOJ investigations and all of these things. Obviously, when Trump's in, he will immediately kill all of that.
Right.
And so does Trump then turn the DOJ against him? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. The sad thing is a lot of people are going to get hurt by a lot of this, the poorest and the most marginalized by these policies. But from an entertainment standpoint, it's going to be interesting to see how these two narcissistic egomaniacs duke it out.
And it's already started. You've been calling it since the beginning. We're seeing the first little breadcrumbs. So yeah, I don't think it'll be long either.
I don't either. And so anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. Pumps will be back tomorrow. I want to thank Josh and Kylie for subbing in while we got through her vacation, and we will see you guys soon. It's so